Hello, everyone. We are back with another episode of our video series, Coming Home Life After Semester at Sea, where we are talking with fellow Voyagers from Voyage 134 in the fall of 2024 about what their experience was like, especially what it's been like for them since coming back after the voyage. I'm Kathleen Niegocki, she, her. I was one of the counselors on Voyage 134. With me is Emma DeCaro, one of our two ASL interpreters, also on Voyage 134. And today our guest is one of our fantastic student voyagers, Cassie Pirtle. Cassie, thank you so much for agreeing to participate in this.
Of course, yeah.
Cool. So, as we get started, would you mind just like introducing yourself to folks? Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you ended up on SAS.
Yeah, so my name is Cassie. I'm a junior at Texas State. I was a student on the ship. I was in Adriatic Sea, and I was a big member of the D&D club, the Dungeons and Dragons club. I honestly heard about Semester at Sea kind of on a whim. I was
Mhm.
really unsure of what to do for last semester because I had just graduated from community college with my associate's degree. And my dad kind of mentioned it in passing that he heard about a program where, you can do college and travel the world, which I'm so grateful that he brought that up. But yeah, it was kind of spontaneous, very not in advance, but I'm so glad I did it.
I'm so glad that you're sharing that because I feel like as we talk to people, like for every person who's known about this since they were like a small child, there's someone
Mhm.
else for whom it really only emerged for them on their horizon, like not that long before the voyage, and yet somehow like everybody found their way here and just all the different avenues that like can bring people to semester at sea. Um, how would you describe SAS to like someone like a student or somebody who was not familiar with what it is? And then going off of that, like what did SAS mean for you personally?
I would describe SAS as a journey unlike any other. Not just the amazing places you see, but like the amazing friends you make, um, on board as well as in port. SAS to me is like all of the memories that I made. So, like going to dinner in port countries with my friends, going on the wildest field programs, and learning about each port, both historically and with real life application, and making amazing memories, both on and off the ship.
That's really beautiful. And like, yeah, I love how like just to put it simply, if not that there's a way to do that, like it really was for you a journey like no other.
Mhm.
So thank you for sharing all those pieces. Um, it's been a while now since we disembarked. So right now it's April 17th. It's been like almost 4 months since we left, which is kind of hard to believe. Um, what do you miss the most? What do you find yourself missing the most
Well,
about?
obviously, I miss everything, but um, like many people have said, I miss the community most of all. It
Yeah.
was like such a weird but amazing environment where we were all like stuck together on a small space, and I think that really made us grow closer together, though. Like even though there were at least 400 students, I feel like I at least knew of most of them. Like I knew their name.
Wow.
And it was such a pleasure to be able to make such amazing friends that I still talk to every day.
Mm.
Even the ones I didn't get to know so well, I'm really grateful that I even got to know because I got to participate in that kind of sharing of perspective that I sought out as a semester at sea student.
Yeah.
Um, I keep I keep telling my friends that I get so sad that I can't just text one of them to meet on Lido for smoothies.
I know. Don't you wish you could do that?
Mhm.
It just seems like the place you want to be. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And like, yeah, like, and as you said, that as other people have said, there's something about this kind of community that is just so unique. And like, you really felt that. And like, something about the environment just like fosters that. And it sounds like you just connected with all kinds of people in a lot of different ways.
Totally.
And you said you were in the D&D club. So is there anything more you can say about that? Because I'm hearing that you were also in like communities within the community. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
There were so many clubs on board, which I'm so grateful for. I actually, like, I attended the ASL club a few times when I was able to. Um, and although we had very similar free days, so all the clubs pretty much met on the same day. But
Yeah.
the Dungeons and Dragons Club was also kind of a whim thing I did. I hadn't played D&D in months, and I really like only got into it because of my sister. And I wasn't too close to it, but I decided, hey, that would be fun. And I joined, and it turns out that 6 out of the 9 people that joined the club had never played D&D before in their life.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't like this masters like of D&D kind of thing.
Mm-mm. It
Wow.
was me, the DM, the leader of the club, and one other person that had ever played before. And so actually, we just played another session last night. We've continued our campaign off the ship.
Oh, that's so cool with the same group.
Hmm.
Oh, that's very cool. That's really cool. Um, Cassie, as you're like remembering and reflecting back, can you tell us one of your favorite memories from the voyage?
Yeah, something that really stuck out to me, or still sticks out to me, is that SAS was the first time I'd ever traveled by myself. Like, that was my first time solo traveling ever. And at the beginning, I was very nervous and constantly confused. But then I remember going to Morocco. I
Mhm.
went on the field program where we took a camel trek out to the Sahara Desert and slept in nomad tents. It was very cool.
Mhm.
Um, and when we rode the camels, it was sunset, which was gorgeous, seeing like an amazing gradient over the dunes. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But when we arrived at the camp, it was practically nighttime. Um, and then I looked up. I cannot tell you how awestruck I was at the beauty of such a pure, lit up sky of stars. I still look at pictures that we somehow got of the Milky Way galaxy, and I
Oh,
just think it's gonna be okay. And like me and my friend, Carlina, just sat there and both of us started crying. Um,
gosh.
yeah, it was crazy, but it was also such a reminder of my faith, and it was just so incredible and it was so comforting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that memory. It just sounds like such a deeply moving and profound experience, like
Absolutely.
on so many levels. It's so cool that you got to have that experience and that somehow you actually have pictures that could kind of capture it, at least to some extent. Um, can you say a little bit more about like the solo travel piece and maybe like how you grew in that or like what that has meant for you to have really done that like for the first time in such a big way?
Yeah, that was also another like extremely unique thing about semester at sea is that like yes, you did have to make your own travel plans and you had to find your own independence in that way, but you still had a home on the ship, which I think made me a lot more comfortable being able to make those travel plans and say, "Hey, you know what? Let's go do a safari, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
let's go do something. And I think that security of the ship and like of my friends that I knew and loved, like it was again such a unique and crazy experience. But even after I've come home, like my friends, my family, they tell me that I'm like more confident in myself.
Wow. And do you feel
So
that?
yeah, I think I do because like having to have that independence and having to make those plans myself and like not being forced into that role, but wanting to explore that and having that be the only way I could do it
Yeah.
was a very encouraging experience and very important, I think.
Yeah, and it's like you did all that, you know? Like how cool. Like you did all that. And there was like this nice balance where like you were going off and like stepping out of your comfort zone and like building that confidence, like doing all these kinds of things like for yourself. And then you also had like the safety of your friends and the ship waiting for you. And like it just seemed like it was a nice balance of like going out there and then knowing that you had this like soft place to land, afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, as I said before, for anyone watching, we're doing this in mid-April. So it's been several months since we ended and in Thailand. Um, was there like what was it like for you, Cassie, like coming back? Like how was that experience for you? And were there any challenges?
So, struggle number one, obviously, not having amazing food every single day. Um, but I think it was like the sudden stop of experiencing new things because that's what a lot of SAS was just constantly gaining new experiences and doing new and cool and crazy things.
Yeah.
And it was weird to just kind of immediately go back to regular.
Yeah.
And then not being able to talk to anyone in person about what I had just gone through that would understand it.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely did talk to my SAS friends over the phone and we still text every day, but it's just weird not being able to like hug them, I guess. Like
Yeah.
um and
Yeah.
then with that, they're my lifelong friends and I miss them so much. And just knowing that I wouldn't be able to see them for a while was hard. Um,
Yeah.
I had a rough time probably the first month back.
Yeah.
And now that we're so far out that Voyage 135 is about to end their voyage.
Yes. Are you
Um,
keeping track also, like me?
yeah.
Yeah.
It still feels surreal, like it didn't actually happen.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes.
multiple times throughout the voyage, I would turn to one of my friends and I would go, "This is a TV screen. Like this doesn't feel real."
Right. Right.
Because
Like, I can't believe this is my life right now.
exactly. Like even now, sometimes I'll start a story to my friends here at Texas State, and I'll say, "Oh yeah, when I was in India." And I just
Uh-huh.
have to stop myself and think about how much of a crazy sentence that is.
Yeah. Well, and I can also hear like how grateful you are that you can say that and that you've accumulated like those kinds of experiences,
Yeah.
and how wild that is.
I
Um,
cannot stop talking about Semester at Sea. Like I recommend it to everyone I know. I
yeah.
wear all my merch.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. As a foodie, I'm like partly stuck on food. When you're missing food, is there certain like is it like ship like anything that's on the ship or certain ports food like or just the whole thing? Just for me, I'm
I'm
curious.
gonna go into a couple of those. So the food
Okay.
in ports was amazing. Like the pho in Vietnam, the curry in India, like everything was so good. Like I even had fufu for the first time in Ghana.
Yeah.
And like it was just so amazing being able to try all of this amazing cuisine all over the world.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I love the ship food. It was so good. Like I think I took that for granted.
Hmm.
Because every day consistently they had a veggie, they had a protein, they had a starch, and it was delicious.
Yeah. And desserts. Yeah.
And desserts. And my friends all went crazy over the grilled cheese at the grill.
Got it. Oh, okay.
I don't know if you ever got one of those, but it was like three pieces of bread, like a white cheese and a yellow cheese.
Okay. Yeah, I had my own like my own things that I was hooked on. But yeah, so and I appreciate too that you really leaned into like experimenting with like cultural foods, that were really different from
Mhm.
things that you'd had before.
Yeah.
Um
Well, because that's something that my family placed a lot of importance on as a kid was trying like different countries' foods. So we would go to like
yeah,
a Mongolian grill or an Indian place, and
yeah,
I'm thankful that my palate is a little widened because of that.
totally. And you were so that kind of primed you then to like to keep going with that kind of like
Absolutely.
culinary. And so much of the things that you've said like first of all resonate with me but also I think have resonated with what a lot of other folks have experienced like just that initial like sudden change of pace and in like returning to the familiar, where you just came off of this experience that was just like new and exciting thing followed by new and exciting thing, and just like whoo, like that's a big change, just coming back and not having that. um
Mhm.
and I also hear that like you really miss your people, and that there's something that it's amazing that you've kept these connections up, and it's hard to just not like physically be with them the way you were, you know. And then too, like the piece, it sounds like you are talking a lot about semester at sea, but it's that at the same time it's also hard like to fully capture it maybe when sharing about it with people who didn't do it.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
Yeah, yeah, and I also resonate with like the surrealness of it, like that sometimes it maybe feels like it was a dream. um So, following up on like some of the like challenges around like coming back, what has helped you? Like what has helped you adjust to being back? What's helped you cope with like some of the harder parts?
Yeah, so not only am I coming home from SAS, but I'm also starting at a new school. This is my first semester at Texas State.
Right.
And it's been a really great experience because I've had such an amazing support system with my friends and family, and my church. And they will let me talk about semester at sea for exorbitant amounts of time. Um, as well as my friends who were on semester at sea, we still talk every day. Like I said, we literally played D&D last night.
That's
Um,
yeah.
and so it has been hard to kind of like reacclimate myself, but I think that support of that same community kind of living through my daily life has been really impactful for me.
Yeah, I love that. It's interesting because in some ways you came back to familiar things, but you really also came back to another brand new transition. And just did you have any like good buffer time in between, or was it like all of a sudden you were like eh, doing the next transition?
So I actually applied and registered for classes for Texas State on semester at sea.
Wow.
Which was hard, and also I have all 8 a.m.s this
Wow.
semester.
Okay.
But
Oh yeah.
sorry,
Was
I
it
just
any,
blanked.
did you have much of a buffer in between, or was it like immediately starting this new transition?
I had a couple weeks of buffer, but it was pretty sudden.
Yeah. 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 So you right. So you went from one big life change to another big life change. And one thing I love that you said is just that like semester at sea is still living through you in your daily life, that you're still so connected to it, that you have people and communities where like you feel permission to like continue to talk about your experience and your memories, and people want to hear about that, and that also like you're totally maintaining these friendships that you made, like as evidenced by last night's D&D. Like that's very cool that you've been able to keep that alive. Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for that experience, and it has, in no uncertain terms, changed my life.
That's amazing. And I feel like that's such a beautiful place for us to wrap up. Thank you so much, Cassie, for doing this interview and for sharing your experience with us. And it was really nice to see you. And thank you to everybody for watching, and stay tuned for our next episode.
Thank you so much.
Bye.